The almighty tech companies have been laying off en masse for the first time ever. This is obviously big news. I've been working in these companies for over a decade. I'm going to give you my personal point of view of what's happening, if it's going to last, what the future holds, and what it means for future employees and investors. Let's get started. Hello everyone, I'm Johan from Economia, your destination for financial independence, tips to invest and spend wisely. Since the summer, and even more in the past few weeks, global tech companies have been laying off en masse. You have all those names here on screen and they all come to mind. And it keeps on counting. If you look at the screen here, this is this tool and the tally is at 136,000 people losing their job all across the world. India, Australia, South Korea, Japan, Singapore, obviously the US and Western Europe. This is not small. Those are high-paying tech jobs. They affect their local economies, their local communities, and of course, more importantly, the individuals that have been laid off and their direct families. This is a really tough situation. Any job, even if it's not a high-paying job, when it gets cancelled or laid off, it's a terrible personal situation. I feel for the people that have been affected. This is very close to me, and it's not about tech jobs, it's all across the economy. This is really a big personal issue and a big personal trauma for a lot of those people, obviously. How long is it going to last is everybody's guess. It really depends on the economy, how quickly it's going to recover, what are the geopolitical issues that we are living now and how quickly they're going to be resolved. What are the reasons behind those layoffs? What has changed? Those companies have been growing exponentially, creating whole industries. You can think of social media, online advertising, communication, e-commerce, and they basically build those industries and growing so fast. And the pandemic, for the past 2 years, has accelerated that growth because they were uniquely placed to take advantage of this terrible situation. None of them have lived into a depression or recession since the 2000 dot-com bubble. They've basically been riding on this fantastic and boom economy that we've benefited from with very low interest rate, almost free money, and an influx of young people, talented, to come and fuel this fantastic machine. They never really had a hard time, except maybe YouTube and Google during the 2016 ad apocalypse. But that went away very quickly within 6 months. And all of a sudden, there are dark clouds on their horizon. The growth is slowing down and the share price has been dipping and sometimes just unraveling completely. And that's a big issue because all the investors like you, like me, have been so used to it, and also the employees have been paid with the expectation of the stock price going up. So there's a lot of unrest outside and inside those companies. There are also legal challenges in the US, in Western Europe, and other parts of the world, looking at how big those companies are, looking at the way they're working, talking about antitrust, talking about unbundling them. It's a very difficult legal situation and legal challenges that they are facing. There's also the public sentiment that is turning negative towards those behemoths. And of course, inside those companies, there's been traditionally a possibility of speaking up about any issues. And if there was a project or a program you didn't like, you would speak up against it, and maybe the project is going to be stopped. And this has accelerated to the point that a lot of projects are being basically stopped or halting completely because of the voices inside those companies. And sometimes it has impacted the business negatively. Those relatively young companies are actually experiencing, and have been experiencing for some time, the pain of growing up. They've hired so many people, they became so big that their processes, all their policies, and even their management have to grow and learn how to manage such a big organization. And that's something that is causing them a lot of trouble. Also, external pressure have been coming. The investors, for the first time, are slowing the growth slowing down, and they're asking for very strong measure to recover and to be prepared for when the economy comes up. One example would be the recent letter from TCI, the hedge fund that they're a very big shareholder of Alphabet. They wrote to the CEO of Alphabet asking for cost-cutting measure, as you can see on the screen. This is a first, and they are not used to such a pressure because they've been the darlings of the stock market of investors for so long. So, based on all of these reasons, they've started wondering at the management level what to do, and looking at the economy slowing down, the recession, the inflation going up. This and other companies starting to lay off, they saw maybe a good reason or a way to start laying off as well without being pointing at too much, and also of ways to streamlining completely the operations in terms of the salaries, the perks, the number of people they have, and the way they actually and regularly doing business. They find a good opportunity to actually do what they couldn't do until now, because they would have never dared to try to lay off when the economy was booming. This was against the image of always growing and everything was fine and perfect. Well, under the surface, as we've just seen, there were growing pains. So what does the future hold for all these big tech companies? This is my opinion. It's not any kind of financial advice, and it's just my personal opinion as an information for entertainment purpose. If you decide to act based on what I said, it's just on you. Do your research, and I'm just talking about my own case and just giving my own opinion, okay? So they are in a very difficult situation right now, but honestly, those companies, from my personal experience and interaction, are full of very, very bright people, very competitive people. They do not like to lose. They're gonna find a way to get out of the hole they are in now, and they're gonna get ready for when the economy picks up again. They're gonna change the way they're doing business, the way they evaluate their own people, the way they pay people. Everything is gonna change, I believe, and they're gonna get stronger and ready to hit the ground running when the economy and everything gets more favorable. And those who cannot, in terms of people, in terms of companies, they will just disappear, get absorbed, get sold. But I'm pretty sure that most of them are gonna rebound. So I'm pretty optimistic for the future for all those companies. Now, how long is it going to take? I have honestly no idea. It will be depending on the economy, it will be depending on geopolitical events, as we know, the inflation, the taxes, the rate increase. There are a lot of different factors. And also, do they shift management? Do they shift a bit their business, their focus of business? There are a lot of things. All I know is that there's going to be some hiccups along the way. Unfortunately, there might be more layoffs, or there might be reduction in salaries. There's going to be a lot of up and downs along the way, but eventually they're going to rebound together with the economy. So what does it mean for employees and for investors? Employees, hang on tight, be indispensable, and just look on the bright side if you can. The pressure is really high, I'm sure, but try to hang in there. You're in very good companies and things are going to be brighter eventually. For the investors, I'm not going to give you any investment advice because I'm not a qualified financial advisor, so it's just what I'm going to do. I don't think we can pick winners already, and I don't think that stock picking actually works for most investors. Actually, that's not what I say. A lot of investors brighter than me have been saying that for the longest time. So for me, I already have some of those stocks in my portfolio and I'm going to keep them. And maybe cost average, but probably just keep them. What I'm going to be doing is look at the overall industry, the tech sector, and I'm going to be investing in those indexes, index funds or ETFs that focus on the technology sectors, and I'm putting them on the screen, some example of those that I'm looking at and investing in. But that's not where I put all my money. Of course, I also invest in broad-based index funds and ETFs, whether they are US-based, European-based, or or other places like Japan and the rest of Asia, just to have a large enough and diversified portfolio and investing over time to making sure to have dollar cost averaging. And of course, I'm not doing that with all my money. First and foremost, as I put in this video, I have my emergency fund ready and I keep it ready in case something bad happens. If you have retirement fund where you can invest like a 401k or the equivalent eDeco or DC, all those equivalent, if you have them and your employer is matching your contribution one-on-one, you should do that first because this is free money and this has very good tax treatment. If there is money left and you don't have to pay for a child education fund or an HSA or any other health insurance and you have money left, then continuing investing in the market with the index funds and the ETFs that I mentioned, I think is a real good idea. And eventually the economy is going to pick up and what you've invested at a relatively low price with the market being really low and maybe going lower is going to have a very, very good upside. So that's it for today. If you like this content or learn something, give it a like. Do not hesitate to subscribe for more content to come. If you have any comments or would like to see different type of content, do not hesitate to leave some words in the comment section down below. Thank you again for watching and until next time, goodbye.